everyone. So today I'm going to be talking about Theo and Philo Chocolate. They are a 100% Pinoy or Filipino chocolate maker. So let's start. These guys have been around for 11 years now. They started in 2010, and it's actually one guy started it. Philo Chua started it at the time when he got the idea. He was, sorry, I got distracted. I forgot to show you this. I have their mango truffles too. They're so good. So at the time, Philo was living in the United States, living in the Pittsburgh area. He has a master's degree from Carnegie Mellon University in entertainment technology, and he was working as a programmer. And he really got into the Food Network and cooking and baking and just food in general, and loved baking with chocolate. And inspiration hit him when a new shop in Pittsburgh opened that sold gourmet chocolate. And it really piqued his interest, and he did some basic research and found out that chocolate grew in what's called the 20-20 zone. So within 20 degrees north or south of the equator. It's not a hard, fast zone, but it's a general zone. So, and he discovered that it included the Philippines. So he did a little more research and found out that no one was making chocolate in the Philippines. They were growing the beans, but no one was making chocolate there. And so a little spark, a little idea was born, and he decided, after years of working in the United States, in 2007 to move back to the Philippines. Now, when he moved back to the Philippines, most people didn't really understand what he was doing. They thought maybe he was making tablea, which is, it's like, so tabla in Spanish means plank, and it's a derivative from that. So it's like a little puck of chocolate that they use to make a hot chocolate, or sometimes they use it to make like a rice porridge, samporado, I think it's called. I could be wrong on that one. So they didn't really understand what he was doing with the idea of making single origin bars. They thought he was making tablea or maybe truffles. He didn't have a lot of access to mentors or training. All he had was a couple of books to learn from. There was lots of trial and error. And he was worried that the Filipino people would not understand or accept what he was making, since it was such a new concept and a new product. But turns out the response was better than he thought. So most of the cacao that is growing in the Philippines grows in the Davao, why can't I say this word? Davao area in the Philippines, and he wanted to, Philo wanted to elevate the homegrown chocolate in the Philippines. So he buys directly from the Davao farmers, paying a fair price. He's also helped fund their post-harvest infrastructure, so things like fermentation and drying tables and things like that. He hires people from the poorest community, hires and trains people from the poorest communities, and gives them fair wages and benefits in their jobs. And he also provides scholarships and transport for some of the farmers' kids, so that they can get schooling and get to and from school. So the focus is on Filipino flavors, and I love that. I love Filipino food. So let's see. He started with 2 bars. He started with the 70% dark and the milk bar. And his flavors are all inspired by classic Pinoy dishes. And he's got things like adobo, which is the national dish of the Philippines. It's not the same as Spanish adobo, although that's where the word comes from. There's a lot of Spanish influence in the Philippines. In Spain, it's a marinade, but in the Philippines, it's more of a cooking process, like a stewing in vinegar with other spices that gives it this sweet, sour, salty kind of flavor. It's yummy. Then you have calamasi. These are all flavors that you can find in his different bars. So adobo is one, calamasi is one, which is a citrus hybrid that is something crossed with a kumquat. They're not quite sure. Other citrus crossed with a kumquat. Pili nut, which is native to the Philippines. Canarium ovatum. When it's raw, it tastes like a pumpkin seed. When it's roasted, it tastes a little bit like a pine nut. Then you have pini pig, I think that's how you say it, which are immature grains of rice, glutinous rice, so sweet rice, that are pounded flat and toasted. And they kind of, when you see them, they kind of look like the flatness of like rolled oats. They kind of superficially resemble that. They're used in cakes and baking and dessert toppings in the Philippines. Then you have Turon, which is one of the bars that I have. I love Turon. When we lived in Hawaii, we used to get these all the time. It's basically banana lumpia, or banana and sometimes other fruit. I like it with banana, jackfruit, and sugar wrapped up in an egg roll wrapper and cooked. Very popular street food. Barako coffee, which is a varietal grown in the Philippines. Barako means, I think, stud, basically, in some Filipino languages. So it's kind of like strong coffee or masculine coffee. And the last one that I've seen is the labuyo, which is a super tiny, super strong chili pepper developed in the Philippines after the Columbian exchange. So peppers originate from South America. So after Columbus discovered the West, he took some of the things out, and it's called the Columbian exchange, where some of those things left. And peppers was one of them that migrated to East Asia. And so this pepper was developed after that time. It's said to be the world's smallest hot pepper. So I shy away from pepper, or super spicy pepper, I guess. So today I have the green mango, which green mango is reminiscent for me because I used to have the most lovely mango tree growing in my backyard, and we had all the mangoes we could eat, green and ripe and all year long. So we've got the green mango and salt, and I have the Turon, so the banana. So what I'm going to do, and you can see there's both award-winning bars. I'm gonna flip the camera around and we will take a look at the chocolate. All right, so I currently have 3 things from Theo and Philo. I have this mango coconut chocolate crunch, which is delicious. I love it. They're like little truffles that have mango and coconut in them. And look at the wrapper. How adorable is that? I like these new wrappers. He's had some other ones, but I'm really, really fond of these ones. So Theo stands for Theobroma cacao, which is the binomial nomenclature for the cacao tree. And Philo is derived from the Greek word philos meaning love. So love of the Philippines and its flavors, and a love of chocolate and cacao. And obviously it might have something to do with the name of the founder as well. So I think I'm gonna open both of these because I'm just excited. So he's always been interested in art even when he was a kid, he was into arts and design. So he wanted his packaging to be beautiful and artsy, and I think the packaging expresses what's in the bar. It expresses Filipino fauna and flora, and it's just really cool. I really like these new wrappers that he has now. So yeah, they're great. Okay, so I'm gonna open. So The mango and coconut, I'm going to save those for later. I'm going to probably open both of these bars, so let's open them up. Okay, let's take a look at the back here. So, cacao origin. I think Theo and Philo was, if not the first, I'm pretty sure they were the first bean to bar maker in the Philippines, but that could be, I could be wrong there. So, this is also a very distinctly Filipino flavor, the green mango and salt. So we've got cacao beans, sugar, dried green mangoes, cacao butter, and sea salt. The sugar I also know is from the Philippines as well. So let's open this up and take a look. This is not an easy foil to open, but it's sealed nicely so that when I open it, I get really nice smell coming out of it. Okay, take a look at that. That looks nice. Nice shine. Traveled to me all the way from the Philippines, you guys, and still looks good. Okay, let's break off a piece and see if we can hear a snap. Good snap. Looks nice. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to warm it up a little with my thumb to release the volatile acids, and then I'm going to check the aroma and then we'll give it a taste. So this is a nice bar. There's a reason that green mango and salt show up in so many dishes around the world. It looks nice on the outside, and it tastes good on the inside too. It really hits all of your taste bud notes with the salt from the salt inclusion, and the sweet from the sugar, and the sour from the green mango, and the bitter from the, yeah, although it's not really bitter, it's only ever so slightly bitter. It's pleasantly bitter from the cacao, and just all together just makes really for a really nice bite. It's got a nice mouthfeel and just delicious to taste. So that's a nice bar. I can see why. So when they started making these, he only had 2 bars. And then at like the holiday season, they would add different flavors, and that's when their sales really went up, because when they added the flavors, the sales increased, and so they decided to keep the flavors. And I like that they're doing the flavors of the Philippines. I like that a lot. All right, so here's the Turon bar. You remember that Turon is basically a fried banana spring roll. It's a little bit, so if you compare the color, this one was a 65%, or this way. So this one was the green mango and salt was a 65%. This one is a milk chocolate. So it's milk, and let's see what we got here. So we have sugar as the first ingredient, cacao beans, milk powder, cocoa butter, dried bananas, butter, sesame seeds, and vanilla beans. This sounds like it's going to be really good. Okay, so let's take a look at the bar. Lots of inclusions, like his other one. He had lots of inclusions in it. Looks good. Doesn't look like it has any obvious flaws to it. That's just a crack from traveling right there. Lots of inclusions though. Let's see if we can hear a snap. Oh, very soft. That's okay. It's a milk chocolate. What's more important is how it tastes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to warm it up, give it a sniff, and then taste it, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, for this one, when I smell it, I get kind of a fudgy milk chocolate note, a little bit of vanilla in there, and the banana. When I taste it, I should have done this one first. This one is much, much sweeter than this one. So it's not green banana here. This is a representation of a banana tree. it's not green banana in here. This is full on ripe banana, all the sugar the banana is going to make in there. And it's definitely a ripe banana flavor that is in there. And it's a lot of inclusion. It's hard for me to tease apart the chocolate flavor from the banana itself, which is fine. And the sesame seed give it a nice little crunch and a little bit of sesame flavor in there, so that's nice as well. So it's quite a sweet bar for me, but it's still very enjoyable. So I like this bar as well. I want to eat some more of it here. So what I'll do, this is the Theo and Philo selections I had for today. Good bars, both of them. I can see why they won awards. And I love how they represent the Philippines and their flavors and their cultures. So let's flip the camera around and we'll finish up. All right, so that's Theo and Philo out of Manila in the Philippines, a maker at origin and doing some fun and different flavors if you're interested in trying some inclusions or some Filipino cacao beans. That's it for today. If you've tried Theo and Philo, or if you love Philippine food, tell me your favorite dish. Tell me what flavor you'd like them to see making next with chocolate. Or if you've tried any of their flavors, let me know. And make sure that you like this video, and if you want to get more chocolate stories and learn more about the makers, subscribe and you'll get one in your inbox every Thursday. We'll see you next time. Thanks.